Lost Highway is David Lynch's seventh feature film and is one of the filmmaker's most potent cinematic dreamscapes. Now, the film expands the horizons of the medium, taking its audience on a journey through the unknown and the unknowable. As this postmodern noir detours into the realm of science fiction, it becomes apparent that the only certainty is uncertainty itself. Now, David Lynch is no stranger to Criterion, with his films Eraserhead, Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me, The Elephant Man, Blue Velvet, and of course just last year, Mulholland Drive 4K coming into the collection. There's also The Art Life, the documentary made about him from 2016. Lost Highway, in true Lynchian style, is a 1997 neo-noir film directed by him and co-written by Lynch and Barry Gifford. It stars Bill Pullman, Patricia Arquette, Balthazar Getty and Robert Blake. And the film follows a musician played by Bill Pullman who begins receiving mysterious messages and VHS tapes of himself and his wife, Roseanne Arquette, in their home. He is suddenly convicted of murder, after which he inexplicably disappears and is replaced by a young mechanic, Balthazar Getty, leading a different life. Now, there are good reliable performances in the film from Pullman and Arquette, backed ably by young Getty and Blake. Lost Highway was financed by the French production company CB2000 and was largely shot in LA, where Lynch collaborated with frequent producer Mary Sweeney and cinematographer Peter Deming. The film's surreal narrative structure has been likened to a Mobius strip, while Lynch has described it himself as a psychogenic fugue, rather than a conventionally logical story. Lost Highway was partially inspired by the famous O.J. Simpson murder case, which involved the arrest of a man who denied murder. The film's opening scene, where Fred Madison hears the words "Dick Laurent is dead" over his intercom, was inspired by an anomalous incident that happened to Lynch at his own home. Now, because his house was next to actor David Lander's house, and both men have the same first name, Lynch thought the stranger must have been wrong about the address, and the idea of the mystery man came out of a feeling of a man who, whether real or not, gave the impression that he was supernatural. Interesting stuff indeed. Now, Lost Highway was shot, as I say, in Los Angeles, California, and it took about 54 days to shoot it, from November 1995 through until February 1996. And some of the film's exterior and driving scenes were shot in Griffith Park, while the scenes of the Lost Highway Hotel were filmed at the Armagosa Opera House and Hotel in Death Valley. Lynch owns the property that was used for Fred and Renee's mansion, and that is located on the same street as his own house is in the Hollywood Hills. The house was configured in a particular way to meet the requirements of the film's shoot. A corridor that leads to the bedroom was added, and the facade was remodeled with slot windows, and that was to make Fred's point of view very limited. And the paintings that are on the wall above the couch were done by Lynch's ex-wife and producer, Mary Sweeney. Now, as well as neo-noir, the film borrows elements from other genres, and that includes German Expressionism and French New Wave. The terms psychological thriller and horror film have also been used to describe its narrative elements. Lost Highway was released in France on January the 15th, 1997. In North America, the film premiered at the Sundance Film Festival, which took place in Park City, Utah, January 1997. But the film wasn't a big success at the US box office, as it wasn't seen as a mainstream release, and it didn't have the same appeal as Twin Peaks: Fire Walk with Me had. But then the successful television show had fueled interest and anticipation for that release. Now, the film comes as a 2-disc set with a new 4K digital restoration, and that's supervised and approved by the director David Lynch himself, with new 5.1 surround master audio soundtrack and an alternate uncompressed stereo soundtrack as well. Features on the Blu-ray disc are Pretty as a Picture, The Art of David Lynch. That's a feature-length 1997 documentary by Toby Keeler, featuring Lynch and his collaborators Angelo Badalamenti, Peter Deming, Barry Gifford, Mary Sweeney and others, along with on-set footage from Lost Highway, reading by Lynch and critic Christine McKenna of excerpts from their 2018 book, Room to Dream. Archival interviews with Lynch and actors Patricia Arquette, Bill Pullman and Robert Loggia. Excerpts from an interview with Lynch from the filmmaker and writer Chris Rodley's book, Lynch on Lynch. And there's new cover art for the disc by Fred Davis. Now there's some interview material, albeit archival, with Lynch himself on the extras, and it's spine 1152.